Hey Matt, this is Jim Tucker, just a Patreon supporter of yours. Got a lot of inspiration from watching your videos. Just wanted to give you a little quick rundown. I've sent you a few emails over the past 6 months or so, but just wanted to give you a little rundown on what this thing's evolved to. Still got a long ways to go, but been working on the cage. Got some sliders in there with some 2x6 tubing. Kind of just a way I came up with to tie the frame together. And put some 3x3 tubing around the back to kind of support the frame. We've got the roll cage in progress. Still got to do a back bumper. Got my transfer case rebuilt. These are my Trailworthy Fab H1 wheels with the 36-inch Super Swampers. Got the floor just kind of sitting in there right now. I did some 1/4-inch plate down to the frame stiffeners that tie into the bottom of my sliders, and then I just cut out all the flooring. You see I still got some rust up there. I'm going to get that all back in, and same with this hump. I need to kind of fabricate something to go back in there. I've got a rear drive shafts out right now, but I had ordered one and I got it from Tom Wood's Custom Drive Shafts. Get that put in. This thing's sitting on Super Duty 1-ton axles. Like I said, kind of my cage. Another view of it there. A lot of it's tacked up. I got a lot of weld out to do. There's my coilovers on the front with some hoops that I cut. Went up into the engine compartment. 3-link front suspension. Here's the Dana 60 Super Duty front end. Kind of anxious to see how my steering works out. My drag link ties into the tie rod there. I rotated the hind joints on each end opposite to keep the tie rod from wanting to roll back and forth. I'm not sure if that's going to work out in the long run. If I change that, then my geometry is going to be a little different. My track bar and my drag link, they're now pretty parallel. If I go to change that drag link angle or where it ties in, probably going to change that a little bit. Still got to bring my cage around and tie it into the front. Thinking about doing kind of a small hoop over the winch up to like the top of the grill and across, and then bring my tube from my cage around the front, and then do something with the fenders. It's kind of just kind of a general rundown on what I've got going on here. Like I said, I appreciate all the ideas and inspiration I get from you guys, and this is kind of my first build like this, so some things maybe I do different, but some things, you know, a lot of what I'm doing, I bought a lot of material, but I don't always have a plan, and I just kind of see how it comes together and try to utilize what I have to make it work versus just going and buying new steel for every single piece. I kind of come up with ideas to use what I have and make it work. So I'm hoping it'll work out. Like I said, I got the frame stiffeners in, kind of tied into where the leaf springs on the front mount. And this tubing is just setting in place, but this 3x3 tube that's going to kind of stiffen the frame and tie in back here. I'm going to cut some plate and come down and tie in this. This will tie in the back end of the frame and the rear leaf spring mounts kind of all together with this bumper. Well, not really a bumper right now, just a tube that goes across there. I need to do some sort of bumper back there just for when I'm coming down off of something, you know, so I slide over it. Like I said, it started out, I wasn't going to get this radical, but the rust just kept showing up. You know, I'd get somewhere it looked good, and then I'd come back a little farther, there'd be some more, and then it'd be good, and then there's some more, and I finally just got tired of dealing with it, so I cut everything back pretty much from the back of the windshield back. So right now the back, that A-pillar is not tied into the cage, it's just tubed around. I was kind of curious whether I should tie that in or not, just because I didn't want to take a hit to the cage and then tweak that pillar and bust my windshield and not be able to put one back in. So I'm hoping that I don't really need any support there. You know, my sliders are welded in here where I cut it off. And this will kind of be tied in together with this quarter-inch plate down here, an 1/8" tread plate that I'm using for the floor everywhere. I saved all the wiring to go back. I was kind of hoping at one time to keep it street legal so I can run all the wiring back and keep my turn signals and stuff. Just in case, you know, I live out in the country, just in case I want to go driving around the country, I don't have to worry about anything. Or if I go wheeling somewhere where I need to be on the road for a little bit, I could do that too. But we'll see. And you know, I got rid of the stock fuel tank. So I'm going to have to do a fuel cell. Once I get my seats put back in, I'm going to get some Corbeau seats or some sort of racing bucket seats. And I'm hoping I can work in a small bench seat in the back so that I can have more than 2 passengers just if we're doing some driving around. That's kind of why I went with the XJ originally. I wanted to do you know, something that I carry more than 2 people, and the JKU is just too expensive. I don't want to buy something that new. So a lot of people around me have the Razors and stuff like that, but they man, they just get, you know, $20,000 tied up in those Razors easily. You know, and I started out with this Jeep for $1,200. Bought some 1-ton front and rear axles, fairly reasonable price. Some tubing, you know, my struts, stuff like that. So really I'm hoping to have, you know, 6,000 or something in this maybe when I'm done. You know, the Trailworthy Fab wheels were kind of expensive, but you know, they ought to be really worth it in the long run in the tires. But you know, for what people are spending on these other toys these days, I thought I could really build a pretty cool Jeep for, you know, a fairly low budget compared to that. But anyway, I just wanted to shoot this little quick video and tell you thanks and kind of get your input maybe and see what you think so far. I mean, I know I don't go into a lot of details on exactly how all this stuff's tied in, but you know, it just kind of just has kept evolving, and I've still got a long ways to go. But anyway, thank you, Matt, and let me know what you think.